Hello my friends, welcome back to another Black Ops 6 Zombies video here on the channel. This one I'm going to be showing you guys how to get 2 of the 9th Prestige challenges done. Now they're going to sound very self-explanatory, which they are, but I'm going to give you guys some tips and tricks on how to get them done most efficiently, in my opinion, from getting them done myself. And that's going to be Trials and Tribulation, which is to complete 5 or more trials in a single match 10 times. Of course, these are the SAM trials. And then the other one is going to be Safe and Sound, which is to successfully exfil on round 20 or later 10 times. So you can knock these both out together because obviously if you go for the 5 SAM trials, and then after that exfil, it should be round 20 by then, roughly. And so these are 2 that would typically go together. So if you do enjoy this one, if you find it useful, leave a like, subscribe for more. And if you have any other additional tips or tricks that I am not mentioning that you think might be better or just, you know, different for other people to kind of consider, leave them down in the comments section below, or any questions, of course, you have as well. And check out the playlist at the top of the description for everything else Black Ops 6 Zombies and all the other guides that we've done. All right, let's go ahead and jump straight into this. So, what I'm going to be doing is going to Liberty Falls. Obviously, we cannot do this in directed mode because we got to get to round 20 or later 10 different times for the exfil. So we can't do this in directed mode. It has to be in standard. We're going to be going to Liberty Falls personally because there's a few different things I like to do there that just gets me set up a little bit more easily. And I just think it's a better map to get this done. Now, in terms of whether you could do this solo or co-op, I did most of them solo. I did like maybe the last like 4 of them co-op just because I was tired of just playing alone, and I was just over it. I just wanted someone to run with at that point, so I ran it with my son. So in terms of difficulty, like obviously it's gonna scale a little bit. You're gonna have more zombies and whatnot if you're 2-player or more. That said, you know, in the runs that I did solo versus the runs that I did with my son, it took me pretty much the same amount of time, which is roughly 30 minutes per run. So you can expect to do this about 30 minutes per run if you're efficient. The first couple runs to get used to it, you might not be as efficient, but let's go ahead and jump straight into this. So what I like to do is, because we are on Liberty Falls, there's the vending machine in the very kind of starting area that you can smack at the beginning of each round. And I like to do that a few times for like maybe the first 3 rounds or 4 rounds, just see if I get anything good. Sometimes I've gotten a Juggernog perk right out of there right away. Other perks as well. It could give you a ray gun, could give you a Pack-a-Punch crystal. So that's a good way to kind of get things started. You want something that typically a gun that has a silencer on it, so you can get a little bit more salvage that drops a little bit more frequently. And I always open up the motel as well because there's a few extra zombies up there as well, and that's pretty much it. When I leave there, I usually go to the back kind of right side of Ollie's comic book shop. I get the secret bonus points and all that, and that's what I do. Now, in terms of when do these SAM trials spawn in, well, it kind of varies. I've had games where they start spawning pretty early, like round 5, 6. I've had games where they didn't start spawning until like round 9 even, which was unfortunate. And the thing is about both of those games, I did the exact same thing. What I usually typically like to do is try to get to the church as soon as possible, get the church open up as soon as possible for a couple different reasons. Number one, I'm not 100% sure. I think that the faster you get the church opened up, the faster the SAM trials start, you know, activating and showing up on the map. I think. I'm not 100% sure on that one. Either way, I like to get to the church quick because there's these purple crystals in the church that you can shoot and they can drop like salvage and stuff, and that's just going to get our salvage up. Now, at this point, what I would suggest is not upgrading your weapon just yet if you can hold down, because what we're going to be doing is just, I mean, not upgrading your weapon in terms of the arsenal. You can Pack-a-Punch it whenever you have the money to Pack-a-Punch it. I would suggest doing that, you know, sooner than later, obviously, just so you could be a little bit ahead of the game. In terms of the SAM trials, once they start spawning, it should be a little bit earlier, and you should get some good stuff out of there as well. Now, let's talk about the variety of SAM trials, because there's going to be a bunch of different ones. I like to come in here with Ether Shroud. The reason for that is because you're going to have some SAM trials, and sometimes they're going to be in like these really tight spaces, like the patio where the ASG gun is at, or the yogurt shop, which is kind of like, you know, you go into it through the bank. That's a really tight spot. And sometimes the spot will be like survive in that area for X amount of time, or get kills in that area for X amount of time. And so if you have the Ether Shroud, that can actually buy you a lot of time. And it could also make you invisible if you get into a pinch. You know, you can kind of get out there as quickly as possible. In terms of streaks, I don't usually buy streaks unless I really, really have to. But what I typically save my salvage for is in case, I always try to have 1500 on hand in case I lose my self-res if I'm solo. If I'm not solo, it's not, you know, as important because I do have a teammate. Although it can still help. But I usually buy a streak later on in the game, and I'll explain that once we get there. But yeah, so that's kind of what I do. We're just kind of going through, trying to do the SAM trials, everything like that, and progressing up, you know, pack-a-punching our gun. I would say you should be good, like, just pack-a-punching it up to at least level 2. If you can get it to level 3, great. But I would at least get it to level 2 and at least try to get Juggernog, just give you a little bit of an extra boost. It's whatever you're comfortable with. Now, at some point, like I said, by the time you get there about round 10, hopefully you've done at least one SAM trial. I would also note down, like write it down or put it like in a notepad, either, you know, on your computer or on your phone or whatever, just so you can keep track of how many SAM trials you did, so you're not there like, oh man, how many did I do? Because there's no way to track these challenges while you're in game. So yeah, so hopefully you'll be done 1 or 2 by then. Once it's round 10, you could do the little like church Easter egg thing. If you don't know about that, you throw in explosives of some sort. It could be a thermo grenade, by the way. I discovered that doing this, because I was like, huh, could be that impact grenade if you can get it up there high enough, or just cook a frag grenade or semtex if you can get it up there high enough. And there's like that little skull on the little peak. And if you get an explosive up there and explodes the little skull on the peak, it starts raining zombies. The reason you want to do this after round 10 is because it'll drop a blue ether tool. And that's also why you hopefully have not spent any salvage on upgrading the rarity of your weapon up until this point. If you can at least make the round 10 without upgrading the rarity, you could pack a punch. Like I said, by round 10, you should at least pack a punch once. And you can also get an ammo mod if you'd like. I like to have the dead wire one that with the augment that makes a big, you know, kind of lightning strike. That one I find very, very useful and helpful. But anyways, point is that the reason why I wait to round 10 is because it becomes a blue ether tool. The last zombie that splats on the ground from the sky, it'll be a blue ether tool. If you do this before round 10, it'll be a green ether tool. And it'll also drop a bunch of essence and salvage, and it'll drop some streaks that can be helpful for you as well. And that's always good. Now, in terms of also the SAM trials that last a little bit longer. So again, talking about the streaks here that, you know, you can find on the ground from this Easter egg, or sometimes you kill elites or specials, right? So the abominations or the manglers, they'll drop streaks as well. Certain streaks can buy you time, obviously, like chopper gunners, hellstorms, different things like that. Like, so for example, if you're in one of those SAM trials that you have to stay in there for as long as possible, you know, opening up one of your streaks, it can clear out some zombies, yes, but it can also just buy you a little bit of time depending on the streak, right? So those are always good. Mutant injections are good, but I always like to try to have a mutant injection at the very end when we're going to exfil, because I think that's like the best streak to have, and I'll explain once we get there. So that's kind of what I'm doing for the most part. And as I'm just progressing, you know, every time a SAM trial pops up, I try to do it right away, because if you don't do it quick enough, it'll despawn. And obviously you want to do it quick enough, because if you can do it as soon as it pops up within that round, then you know, it's not going to take as long for another one to pop up. But if you're you know, taking, you know, if you're going, like, if a SAM trial pops up, then you finish a round. First of all, I think SAM trials only stay up for maybe like 2-ish rounds. But if you flip around before actually starting the SAM trial, then you end up just higher rounds, you know, and it just makes it harder for you. So you want to try to get them done as soon as possible. Some of them you're going to have, you know, some trouble with, obviously. Maybe they're very RNG. Some of them could be like, you know, get crouch kills. That's not too bad. Someone could be like, you know, just get kills standing still. You can be running around and then in training as a pack of zombies and then running far away from them and just stay still and just spray into them. That's a method to do that. If there's any particular SAM trials you're struggling with and you want advice or tips or tricks on, leave them in the comment section below, and I'll try to do my best to help you out with those. If I have the time to, kind of, you know, depending how many people are asking, you know, but there's only so many SAM trials, so just go through the comments to see if that, you know, your question's already been answered or whatnot. But for the most part, they're pretty much self-explanatory. But like I said, just some of the tips and tricks I would recommend is stuff like that. Ether Shroud can be very, very helpful in my opinion. And having things that can distract enemies, decoy grenades could be very good, or, you know, shock charges can at least, you know, shock them. That always can buy you a little bit of time as well. Getting rid of abominations as soon as possible when they do spawn. You don't need to get rid of abominations to flip rounds, but they're going to get in your way, especially when you're trying to do SAM trials. It's just really annoying, really tedious. So trying to get them out of the way as soon as possible. Same thing with the manglers. Try to get them away as quickly as possible. Napalm actually works very, very good against manglers. Also pretty good against abominations. Brain rot also can work pretty good against them. So again, some of it is subjective, right? It's like, well, bring in what is going to help you, right? Because your play style is going to be a little bit different than mine. But for the most part, that's kind of how I would go about it. And if you're doing them as quickly as possible, you're going through the rounds, you know, like you have at least jug. You can get any other perks that you feel, you know, necessary. I also get the 3 plates. I prioritize getting my weapon pack-a-punch to level 2. I wait till round 10 to get that blue ether tool that I said from that Easter egg. And then I will typically have enough salvage where I can upgrade my weapon to a purple rarity. Again, I always like to try to have 1,500 on hand left over, just in case, you know, I go down. I want to get another self-res so I don't just botch my whole entire run. So that's typically how I would do it. And then by the time you get 5 done, you just got to wait till round 20. If it's round 20, as soon as there's an exfil and you've done your 5 SAM trials, which again, by round 20, you should have easily have done 5 SAM trials. Once in a while, your luck's going to be really bad in terms of like how you know, when a SAM trial will pop up. And so, you know, there's been maybe like 3 out of the 10 runs that I did, 2 or 3, that I ended up having to push it to like round 25 or 26 because there's an exfil typically around round 20 or 21, and then another one typically closer to like round 25-ish. So there's been a couple times where I only had 4 SAM trials done. So I'm like, well, I can't leave yet. I got to do a 5th one. But for the most part, you should have all 5 done by round 20 if you do it, you know, kind of the way I'm talking. And if you do, you know, whenever you're not, you know, you don't have to be in any particular spot. There's no SAM trials. I like to go to the spawn area. It's big and open. And then in between rounds, again, you can go hit that vending machine, and who knows, might be some good stuff that pops out of there. Either way, some extra salvage or essence at the very least, usually, and maybe some, you know, extra stuff. And then all the good gear you're going to be getting from the SAM trials and whatnot as well. So just keep that in mind. You'll probably get like monkey bombs and, you know, the Casimir devices or whatever. So that'll be pretty good. Once you've done the 5 SAM trials and the exfil pops up, you're going to go ahead and you're going to activate it. It's usually going to be on the roof of the bank. So keep that in mind. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that I'm grabbing a mutant injection. And, you know, typically I should have enough salvage by this point to get a mutant injection if I don't already have one. If one of the enemies that you've killed throughout the, you know, one of the manglers or elites has dropped one, then great. You already have one if you didn't use it. So mutant injection, and we're going to call in the exfil, and then we're going to book it over to the roof of the bank. And what I'm going to do there is typically going to wait for some of the zombies to spawn. If you have a Casimir device or something, you can throw one of those down first, or monkeys or whatever. And then once you know that's kind of done, you can pop your mutant injection. And if you melee the abomination and or manglers, it kills them really, really, really quick with the mutant injection. So you can actually destroy them fairly quickly, and then just blast any remaining enemies that are there. And then you can actually, the thing I like about the mutant injection is that as you're a mangler, you can go ahead and you can trigger the exfil. Once you've killed all the zombies, if you're still a mangler, you can trigger the exfil as a mangler. You don't have to get out of your streak, whereas with the chopper gunner, you'd have to wait to get out of your streak. And that kills time, which can, you know, risk you not making it in time and whatnot. So anyways, that's pretty much how I do it. Just repeat that 10 times total. So to get to tier 3, you have to do it 10 times total. Tier 1 is do it once, and then tier 2 is to do it up to 5 times, which you've already done once. You got to do it 4 more times. And then tier 3 is to do it 10 times, which at that point you've already done it 5 times. So you just got to double that and do it another 5 times, you know, total 10, and you'll get both these challenges done. They're extremely annoying and tedious, in my opinion, but hopefully this video gave you some tips and tricks to get it done a little bit easier. Again, if you have any additional tips or tricks or questions, leave them in the comment section below. Otherwise, congratulations, my friend. You should have trials and tribulation. You should have safe and sound. You should have a bunch of XP, and you should be a little bit closer to 100% completion. Again, make sure you guys check out all of the other guides we've done if you need help with those, and I'll see you guys soon in another one. Tell your friends, game on. Thanks for watching. Hey, you! What are you doing? doing? Join the skeleton army. Do it today. Don't wait till tomorrow because tomorrow might never come. The earth is going to fade. That's inevitable. The next second of your life's not even promised, so you better think about where you're going, and you might as well just join the skeleton army. Plus, we do kind of like you a little bit, so it'd be nice to see you around here. But if you don't want to, hey, your loss. See you later.